Hi, I'm Danny,
I'm Sam.
and this is Business in a Brew.
We'll be poring over business stories,
And talking about things that interest us in the world of business.
so we'd like you to just take a few minutes out, listen.
Yeah, we'd love it if you join our conversation with us.
Hi.
Yes, hello.
So, are you okay today?
I'm good, thanks. You?
Good. Yeah.
Oh, good. What are you going to tell me about?
Well, I want to talk about clothing. We've talked about clothing before, but controversial.
Controversial clothing? What, like, I can't think what's controversial. Peephole bras? No, that's probably not that controversial.
Not on this session.
Chaps? No. They're quite controversial if you wore them in, like, the street.
They have a place. Yeah, it's not in the street.
It's not in the street, no.
Yeah. Have you heard of Patagonia?
Yeah, I have heard of Patagonia clothing.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's a really interesting company. I first learned about that, blimey, in uni a few years ago, and I hadn't really paid much attention to it.
Mm.
I just saw the brand. I had no idea what was going on behind the scenes there and what it represented and why people were wearing it, why certain people were wearing it and others weren't. It became like a bit of a case study on one of the modules I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a fascinating company, absolutely fascinating.
Okay.
When you think about it, the premise is that it has great belief in environmental advocacy. So it is supportive of the environment. And what it's sought to do is to look at product creation and make it sustainable. Okay. So clothing, sustainable clothing, often the two of those don't sit comfortably side by side.
No, I mean, for the very basic reason that you have to have a load of stock available. So the minute you have a load of stock available, it's unsustainable.
I guess so.
Because there'll be wastage.
But also there's a massive supply chain behind the scenes. There's outsourcing, losing control maybe of who you've outsourced to. There's a whole pile of potential things that can happen there. But they set out with a primary consideration of the sustainability of the product, and pretty much a pioneer in that area. So they do largely outdoor clothing.
That's maybe why I've never worn their stuff. I'm an indoor person.
and layering and that kind of thing. And
layering?
Yeah. Because actually, when you do a lot of outdoors stuff, you're not going out with one great big layer on. You're going out with multiple layers.
Like an onion.
It's often a base layer and then a mid layer and then a top layer.
Like the onion of clothing.
Yes, it is the onion of clothing. Wow, only you.
Just had this vision of a person wrapped in a jump. Sorry.
Yeah. You get really hot, you take the first layer off.
Yes.
You get even hot, and then you can put that layer
and then
back
you're
on.
naked.
And they're all, and then you've got your skin, But what you have is the ability to control your
temperature.
Your body temperature,
Right, fine.
Yeah. So they have been pioneers in using recycled materials to make the products up. Recycled polyester, for example, organic cotton.
Because polyester in itself is an unsustainable material, so to be able to recycle it.
Yeah. And what that's doing is it's reducing reliance on continually new raw materials.
Yeah.
They have what's called a worn wear program, which is if the item starts to wear out or becomes damaged, send it back and it will be repaired.
Like the bag for life-esque situation.
More complex than that, yes. Yeah.
You just nip into Tesco's with your Patagonia and ask for it to be repaired.
So it becomes circular fashion.
Yeah.
So constant recycling, reducing waste at the other end. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but I've got a North Face jacket. They're not a sponsor. I've got a North Face jacket. I've got a North Face layer underneath that, and I've had that for 15 years, at least 15 years. I've got no intention of getting rid of it. I don't really want to replace it with anything.
It still works.
It's mildly damaged, but it's not a big thing. It's not a big thing to me, and I don't wear it that often. I wear it if I go out on a big walk and I know there's going to be inclement weather.
Fair.
But I kind of wonder how much
churn
there's
they get.
real damage that gets done to this stuff, but I can imagine that people keep hold of these garments for absolute decades and won't be replacing.
If they're well-made quality products,
people aren't replacing things like outerwear and outdoor wear quite as frequently as they do fashion wear.
No, because you're not outdoors.
Absolutely right.
All the time.
Yeah. And the company also, beyond its warm wear program, it also looks to reduce water usage, chemical pollution, and carbon emissions. And also is very transparent about this.
Yeah, but we've talked about this before. The bigger something gets, the more opportunity there is for stuff to go wrong. So is there stuff going wrong, or is this one example of someone who is genuinely getting it right, as much as it is humanly possible to get it right?
I think it is, yeah. There are some controversies. But this company has set out with a very clear distinction to try and to promote itself as a clean company that tries to circle its products to recycle. It has been awarded as part of its corporate social responsibility. It has been awarded B Corp
which is quite hard to get hold of.
Which is hard to get now. If you don't know what B Corp certification is, it's really quite intense standards of social environmental performance, but accountability, measurement, and transparency. So I buy washing pods from a company that is B Corp. There's so little waste from this company that they're producing a product that is biodegradable. The capsule itself is biodegradable, and the packaging it comes with is just cardboard.
Yeah,
very clever, very simple, but actually that circular aspect of it, it's the recycling going back into the system to be recycled again into the system. But it's also through this look at a company and the transparency around its methodology also inspires other companies. So other companies actually start to then see, actually, these are a leading light in this area. It doesn't have to be fashion or outdoor wear, but they become an inspiration for other businesses who also have the same ethos. And to know that there's an advantage to it, to be known for that.
When you're starting up and you set your values, set your mission statement, whatever, it must be quite easy to look around and go, well, everyone's got values, but no one seems to be doing anything about it.
Yes. To
find that handful of companies you can actually look up to and say, right, they've got it right. They get what their values are. And they're doing that.
Yeah.
That is inspirational and different, and it proves that it can be done. I imagine it's not the cheapest way to run a business. I imagine there is an expense to having that level of standards and ethics.
Yes. Well, the expense is picked up most often by the customer because this is not cheap. This is not cheap gear.
True.
When you consider that they've got a...
But they're happy to pay the premium for the ethics that comes behind the brand.
That association of a person with a brand, it's often people, that's what people do.
Yeah.
They want to be associated with a brand that reflects their style or reflects their own ethos, their own sense of themselves, and to be seen as wearing or being associated with, attaching themselves to those brands for their own personal needs.
Yes.
But from an outward focus that other people witness them
being that good person.
So someone that drives a hybrid or an electric vehicle is doing that for the right reasons, not just tax benefits. Whereas someone who drives a large engined SUV kind of size vehicle that perhaps isn't quite so environmentally minded, maybe. Just maybe. So they have very ethical business practices. Well, this is their intention. Looking at fair labour practices, ethical production throughout the entire supply chain. They've got a fair trade certification and utterly transparent about supply chain impact environmentally. But of course, You know me.
Oh, there's always a dark side. Go on, Darth. Tell me all about it.
They have courted controversy.
Yes.
Yeah. It's only a few, but it's just that. I'll just step into them really. So in 2015, they're accused of having maybe opaque supply chain and labour practices. There was an implication in human rights abuses.
Those are quite big implications.
Yeah, I know. Some of its products were made by workers in abusive conditions, for example. There were allegations in 2015 of forced labour, which involved human trafficking. Whether this has been proven incorrect, I couldn't find the allegations there.
And I assume this was in their extended supply chain, not their immediate controllable. And production of down for the jackets, for example. Where's the down come from? What practices are employed there to actually extract to get that down? But they did respond. Which at least they did, because it's quite easy to ignore it and assume it'll go away.
And here's what I love to read and what I love to hear is that they conducted audits and they looked at improving oversight of their suppliers to ensure fair labour practices. So,
which would imply they do actually care.
They do actually care. So it's brought to light.
Yeah.
And then the allegations were made, and then they went and did something about it. So they're responsive.
Yes.
Which is great to see. They're just bizarre kind of. I was talking about brand association.
Mm-hmm.
Tech billionaires kind of wanted to jump on the.
What, be seen wearing it?
Yes.
Yeah. Even though they're tech billionaires and probably not outdoorsy kind.
Venture capitalists and CEOs, customized.
There is a halo effect to certain brands that people just absolutely love.
I don't see this as being problematic necessarily, but what it did is it made the brand consider how it was being co-opted by.
Interesting.
And what they
we don't like you. You can't wear our brand.
But it's more. It was. Basically, it wants to be seen as socially responsible and environmentally conscious. But if you can imagine, you've got a CEO,
but other people also want to be seen that way.
Great. Well, we're doing a whole greenwash thing. We want to. Let's all stop wearing.
But you can't control.
You can't stop that. No,
you cannot control how other people use your brand.
That they could do about it. But it's just.
So you've got to show a little resume every time you buy a Patagonia product to prove you're eco-friendly.
It'd be great, wouldn't it? But isn't it interesting how how someone can part of a greenwash want to just go and they want to associate themselves with green companies, even though they're actually not.
Yeah, it's like the theory on social media that when you take one of those photos because you're successful, you've got your Starbucks and you've got your brand new iPhone. It's exactly the same kind of thing. It's presenting this image that you want people to believe. Whether it's true or not, it's another matter.
Yeah.
You're on a dating app and you want to show someone you're outdoorsy and fun. You're wearing an outdoor jacket. Yeah, you must be.
But yes, exactly. But Patagonia has ridden this out and has it persists. It proves to be it is a sustainable and responsible company. I really like that.
That is not like you to find one that doesn't have the skeletons.
I know. And why? I need to start. Maybe I need to get a pair of socks made. Honestly, just.
Do they make Patagonia socks?
I haven't looked that deep. I know about the top layers and the mid layers.
The onion layers, yeah.
And these, yes, exactly, yeah. And what they've done is they've actually been quite outspoken as well. They clashed with Trump or the Trump administration in 2017.
Why was he wearing Patagonia?
I don't think so.
Fair enough.
What do you think?
Probably not. He's definitely not outdoorsy.
Yeah, I've never seen him wear anything but a suit, to be honest.
That is true.
Yeah, there were some national monuments that reduced the size of them. The government just reduced the size of them. And Patagonia put a statement on the website, the president stole your land, which actually angered a bunch of groups. But actually that then meant that that then kind of, as all true controversies actually
No PR is bad PR?
No, and also you have some people that respond positively and a whole bunch of people that respond negatively. So there's an aspect of leading the chase.
It obviously meant something to them.
It did.
Whether you agree or not, the fact that they are that
but
passionate.
I don't mind that. Think about, for example, Brewdog, who have really done some controversial things over the years.
Yeah.
We'll explore that at some point in the future, but they were known for controversial activities. For example, being the first brew brewed underwater, for example.
Like a Houdini
they brewed their beer at the bottom of the local harbour underwater. Yeah.
I mean, they're known for crazy stuff, but again, they're one that was very much known for its values, but stuff has come out.
Yes, quite. Yeah, I don't want to go on to.
No, but it's very nice to hear about a brand where they're just living up to it.
Yeah, but making political statements, actually trying to be, not trying to be political for the sake of it, but actually, there's some ground to what they were saying. And just before we're talking about greenwashing, so it's considered a leader in sustainability, but some people have accused them of greenwashing, basically trying to bolster their own reputation whilst not fully addressing harm to the environment.
I mean, everyone's going to have their critics,
but they have to produce new clothing to supply the demand.
Yes,
but they've got a very responsible approach to what happens to that clothing when it needs repairing.
Because the minute you mass produce,
so it's not. I don't see that as greenwashing. I don't see that as greenwashing at all. But they've been accused of that, So that's. But really, they've been absolutely viewed as positive.
It's nice to hear you talk about someone that's all positive.
Yeah. They've got, a willingness to address criticism, try and do something about it, and not just bury their heads in the sand. But overall, they seem to be a really clean corporation that seems to do what it says it's doing.
Maybe I need some Patagonia socks. That would be greenwashing. I'm definitely not outdoorsy.
I'm going to see if I can find any.
Okay, fair enough. If you do, can you get us both a pair and we'll have matching Patagonia socks? Thanks. Thanks so much for listening and being a part of today's episode.
If you like what you've heard, or if you feel there's something missing, or you want to ask any questions, please get in contact.
And if you love listening to us as much as we love talking to you, subscribe, download, leave us a review. All the love helps.
Thank you.